I will reveal the secret for better attachment rates. Finally.
Ask more questions.
Wait, that's it?
That's it.
Hey guys, Kurt Varam back again with another Inside EIP. Here with Jagger for another one of our little conversations that we have discussing what's going on in the industry. One of the things that we've talked about in some past videos is EIP's attach rate. And it's important. Everybody says it, but it's becoming more and more of a theme. We attach at somewhere, what is it, 68%, Jagger, I think was the most recent number.
66%.
66% is what we attach at. And that's to our core Medicare policies. And what we mean by that is we attach all policies from dental, critical illness, accident, hospital indemnity, as well as final expense to about 66% of our Medicare Supplement and Medicare Advantage policies. Recently, the carriers just had their roundtables that they invite groups out to. And it was a theme this year that we were hearing from all the carriers, from Cigna Health Spring to Mutual of Omaha, as well as Aetna. Like bundling is no longer really optional. Bundling is going to be a mandatory thing. And it's for all the things that we've heard about in the past. But, over the past, about 4 or 5 years is when we really started focusing on our bundling of policies. And we've seen it improve our persistency. Our effectuation rates have gone up, and we can't say what that is. One thing that it's tied to, is it our sales process? Is it that we attach so much? I think it's a little bit of everything, but we have seen those rise to levels that are in the 90s in terms of our effectuation rates. And then our persistency is up there in the 90s after 12 months. And the average life time of a policy has also increased for us in recent years. We just got a little audit back from our friends over at Telos, looking at our persistency trends and things along those lines. And they're all improving and, up there at, industry high standards. Very, very
Higher than that. I mean, Jared kind of questions, our persistency because of the fact that we are just so much better than the industry average. And that goes to show, I mean, obviously, we've got the data to show if they end up buying an ancillary policy from us and the more policies they have with us and the way it's being sold too, right? We don't just push a product to push a product, right? We do needs analysis, fact finding, education, and then ultimately, if they talk about having cancer in their family, well, cancer, heart attack, and stroke's a good policy, right? Heart attack, and stroke, so on and so forth, right? If they talk about their odd group insurance, then they're losing their dental. Well, obviously, a dental plan makes a lot of sense. Hospital indemnity is a little bit different, because you're trying to fill a void that they're not aware, or maybe they're not aware about the, out-of-pocket costs and stuff like that. It's the way you sell it as well will then also dictate more of the persistency.
Yeah, I think that's why I said, we don't know if it's just one piece. Is it the way we sell, or is it that we're attaching more? I think it's a combination of both, because of, like what you said, the way we sell is that fact-finding approach, as opposed to everybody fits with the one policy. I've only got one tool, so I'm going to use it every time. Everything looks like a nail if I've only got a hammer. And so we do that fact-finding approach, and we give those opportunities to the agent to find out throughout the course of our conversations if there are those holes in their policies. We obviously help them out with their core policy, the one that's going to work better for them, be it a Medicare Supplement or a Medicare Advantage plan. And then from there, after we've got that, we then discuss those ancillary products. If somebody, not everybody needs a hospital indemnity, like you said. Does a hospital indemnity work well with a plan in? Not
There's
really.
people that are out there selling it. In my opinion, it's stupid. But sorry if you are selling hospital indemnity to MedSup. Many of you guys aren't selling Medicare supplements today. We're changing the industry for the better of. I want to touch on that really quick. We've had many MA groups that have come in recently that are looking to sell MedSup or final expense, and we always ask them, what would you buy yourself or what would you sell your significant your family, right? And guess what they say 98% of the time? Medicare supplement. I mean, I'm going to keep talking about this because we are changing the industry. EIP, our brokerage is going to change this industry, and we're going to get people doing what's in the best interest for the consumer 100% of the time, and then in return they're going to make more money.
Hey there! If you're serious about growing your brokerage, hit subscribe. Otherwise, YouTube will send you more videos about morning routines instead.
I mean, ultimately, EIP started as a Medicare supplement shop because I think you liked Medicare supplements. Also, EIP has been around since before you could do a e-app, before Sunfire.
Yeah,
and,
before
and all
Sunfire
that
was up
became
there.
an option, right? And I think really when that happened, when COVID hit and when the MA carriers allowed everybody to start selling MA over the phone in a more relaxed way, I think a lot of people went to it because it was a simple product. It wasn't a product that you were collecting premium on 99% of the time. It was just a zero premium plan and easy to enroll. And so people went down that path. But like I said, not everybody is a Medicare Advantage client. Not everybody's a Medicare Supplement client. Even though we're an MA or a Med Sup shop, first and foremost from our beginning, we also sell MA. And we find that that's going to happen probably about 30% of the time on our
You see,
Med
if we
Sup.
generate a MedSup lead, or MedSup creative, MedSup keywords, right? 15% of the time they still end up buying a Medicare Advantage. And that could be a multitude. They can't qualify, right? They don't have the finances for it. Just a better product for them in their given area, right? There are
Mhm.
certain areas MA like absolutely kills it, and then MedSup is just so outpriced. It just sometimes it doesn't make sense to sell a Medicare supplement in given areas and stuff. So about 15% of the time when it's a Medicare supplement lead, they end up buying a Medicare Advantage, and then on the Medicare, if we're generating Medicare Advantage lead, it's about 30% of the time that they end up buying a Medicare supplement versus a Medicare Advantage. And then our broad Medicare, so getting Medicare quotes, Medicare advertising, where we got MedSup and Medicare Advantage in the creative,
Yep.
okay? And just saying, hey, we're a true broker, whatever you need, whatever you want, we're here to assist you. It's about 53% Medicare supplements, 47% Medicare Advantage. Now, going back to the ancillary side of it, because I know that's kind of the topic of this video, is our attach rate on Medicare is 66% today. Now, obviously, Medicare supplement gets more dental, vision, and hearing. Second product is going to be cancer, heart attack, and stroke. Third product is accident. We're getting ready to start offering short-term care to those individuals as well. We consider life insurance a core policy, but it's an ancillary policy to our Medicare agents. Now
Yeah.
for our life division, right? It's a core policy over there. We get a little bit of a tax rate there, on life insurance to our Medicare, but it's not a huge focus of the agency. I'm not saying that's right. We're working on it. We're getting better. We're not perfect, right? We're working on it. Now, Medicare Advantage, obviously, hospital indemnity is number one. Dental is going to be number two. And then accident and CHAS are going to be three, right? It's kind of, they're blended there, and it just makes logical sense if you're doing needs analysis, fact finding, education, right? During needs analysis, sell the product to a need, not a need and a want, versus the agent just upsell to make more money. We don't allow our agents to do that. I mean, has to fit into a need or a want for us to be able to sell that any policy, whether it be a Med Sup or be a Medicare Advantage, it be Ancillary or anything else like that. That's Medicare. Life insurance. So life insurance is new to us. We're a little over a year into this venture with life insurance, and we're We're at 50-ish agents today. We're getting ready to hire another 30 that start less than a month from now. Very fruitful, it's doing very, very well. Our placement persistency are doing amazing. Again, if you sell to a need and a need, more of a need for final expense than a want, because if you sell more to a want, everybody wants $10 million in life insurance.
Of course.
They
Yeah. Why not?
need 30,000, right? So it's more selling to a need for life insurance. But we introduced January, our version 2 scripting, in that, and it's ancillary. That's the number one thing with our V2 scripting was ancillary, offering, right? We don't call it a pitch, we call it an offering. And we went from writing maybe a 0.5% ancillary to now selling, right now we're at 11% attach rate this month. Okay. I think we'll get it in the mid-20s. Mid-20s is kind of where that'll settle in to just talking about it.
And one of the things that, we've had these conversations with a lot of groups out there that are looking at this year coming up. We got an email recently from Humana about abuses of SEPs and how they're going to be watching you with a microscope as an agent and at the agency level. And, if you're abusing those, and not hitting the thresholds that they point out in there, then they will do things like required trainings to potentially terminations. And that's at a both agent and agency level. And we've already seen groups out there that have already been termed, not on that, or they're paused on the Humana side. Other carriers are following in their footprints. And so it's an important thing that people are looking at going into Roy of how do we not only keep our business profitable, but keep putting money in our agents' pockets? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, what is an agency? It's a group of agents. They have to be happy. They have to make money. But we can't just pay people to sit around for 6 months and not make sales. And so one of the ways, and one of the things I've heard you say, Jagger, is, a lot of times on some of these ancillary products, is it a win for the agency? Sure, because we're not doing extra advertising for it. All we're doing is asking extra questions. So it's already the same lead cost, same clients. All we're doing is just asking them a couple more questions. Call it 5 more minutes of your agent's time, but that's throwing an extra, $50 to $100 into an agent's pocket per sale. Is
Another 100 to 150 into the agency's pocket as well. It's a win-win-win for everybody.
Quick pause. The real brokerage conversations happen in our Facebook group. You should probably be in there. Click the link in the description below.
And we'll get into the persistency numbers. Where this kind of spun up was we were able to, a couple of our executive team went out to, the different carrier roundtables. And I believe it was both Mutual and Cigna really talked about the more products a household has, the stickier the stickier it is to them, right? Which means in return, it's stickier for us, right? Now, we already know that data, right? We have that data. For somebody that has a DVH and a CHAS, our persistency and placement's much better, right? Somebody that has 4 products with us, it's better. Again, you sell to a need and a want versus an agent selling to their needs and wants, sell to the consumer's needs and wants, right? It all ends up working out. But this is where this came up is it's a win-win-win for everybody. It's a win for your consumer because you're giving them the right products for their needs and their wants. It's a win for you as an agent or an agency because you're going to get paid more money. It's going to be more persistent, right? It's going to be a bigger, renewal stream to you on the back end as well. And then it's a win for the carrier, right? So the fact that I still talk to people today. Now, mind you, again, where Kurt said at the beginning, it's probably been, I believe it, 2020. I can't believe it's already 2026, just insane. But 2020, maybe a little earlier than that, we were selling 0 ancillary, 0, unless it just completely fell in our lap. And then we'd say, somebody wants a dental? Okay, what carrier do we offer that offers a dental? And then we, okay, well, and then we had Taylor and Galen. I will always shout out Taylor and Galen, Galen, queen of the bundle. came in and she opened up her eyes and saying, hey, what the F are you guys doing? And why aren't you selling this? Ah, no, you're crazy, right? We can't sell ancillary policies. And then all of a sudden it was a 10% attach rate, 20% attach rate. Now we're up to 66% on core Medicare. Like I said, in the low teens now, on life insurance division, but we will get in the 20s. I think it'll get, like I said, mid 20s, maybe 30% on life insurance. It's a different side. It's like, the number that I hear on Medicare Advantage, people that just sell Medicare Advantage and don't sell Medicare supplements, a lot of the numbers that I hear are in the 25 to 35% attach rate with HI.
Yeah, I think that sounds about correct.
Right. I think that range, that 25 to 35, because that our final expense client looks more like a Medicare Advantage client. Doesn't look like a Medicare Supplement client. Your Medicare Supplement clients are your wealth clients, which we're doing attaching wealth annuities, not RIAs, not managed money, right? We're doing wealth, right, to our Medicare Supplement clients. Listen to this statistic. This is a cool statistic that I don't think I've actually shared this, out on World Wide Web. 13% of people that we ask if they want to talk to an advisor, one of our wealth advisors, 13% of the people say yes. Now, not 13% of them are buying an annuity from us, right? But 13% of the people are saying yes, right? Just by asking a fucking question.
Yeah, just
Right.
and not a hard question, right? It's just a simple, open question. Now, of that 13%, we're having qualified calls, and we're helping people with annuities.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're,
You've got millions of annuity. We started that in less than a year ago. We're 9 months into it, probably 6 months into actually selling. It took us a few months to stand it up, get contracting, because I didn't know anything about wealth, right? Nobody in the space. You see Justin Brock out there talking about wealth now, but not anybody was really talking about, wealth in the space and weren't really selling it as a call center. We're very well connected in the call center environment, right?
Yeah.
We do have some face-to-face agencies that work with us and work under us, but our claim to fame is call center, right? So we didn't have anybody that we knew from PeerWise that was selling well. So we had to build it, right? We had to figure it out, and we built it, and it took a few months to stand up, but it's been 6 months strong, and we've got millions of dollars in annuities, on the books. Again, this is it's a core policy, obviously, but, core to my wealth, to our wealth division. But at the end of the day, it's an ancillary policy in the thought process of we wouldn't have had that unless we got a Medicare policy, right?
Because we're with the millions of annuity sales, and that's all because we've started advertising so heavily in the annuity space that if you Google wealth, you'll find all of our ads, and we're spending tens of thousands of dollars a day, right? Or no, we're not doing any of that. All we're doing is talking to our current clients and asking them the question, do you have this? Some of the statistics that I see coming out of like Cigna, 38% of their policies are tied to a multi-policy discount. Okay. 20%.
That's where they're getting a lot of their business, everybody. For those that don't know, is they're getting on the multi discount. And the reason why their loss ratios are better is because and I don't know if exactly this is what it is. I'm still trying to figure it out myself. I was asked, like, how is your loss ratio so good? And they don't really have an answer for that, right? It's much better than some of the other med sub carriers that are out there, but I think it has something to do with the spouse in the house, right? Obviously, I think if you've got a significant other that lives with you, they're taking care of you versus somebody else having to take care of you, or vice versa, right? At the end of the day, like, I think that's where the win is, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole there. But
what I was getting at with that stat is we don't always attach the same carrier. So I think the carrier
don't have the exact stats, but no, I mean, it's the product, guys. It's the product for that consumer, right? We don't sell a Cigna. We sell a Cigna Med Sub doesn't mean we sell a Cigna Chaz or a DBH or something. We sell to the consumer, and we just get around. Like, yeah, would it be easier to sell the shopping cart experience? All the carriers came out with a shopping cart experience a few years ago, right? And the shopping cart experience is, hey, you buy a Med Sup, now you can attach a DBH and you can attach a Chaz. I love the concept, right? It makes it easier for the ones that we end up doing that with. but I don't have the exact stats. I'd say it's probably 50% of the time. I think it's Kurt. That's a great stat that we need to go look at. I'm very intrigued, of what that looks like. But if you sell to the need of the consumer and not to the carrier and the simplicity, right, of for the agent, it was called laziness, right? Agents being lazy at that point. Put the right product in the right consumer's hands, okay, and sell the right product to the consumer. Win, win, win for everybody that's involved. The consumer to
And
the
so
agency to the carrier. So win,
we've
win, win.
probably got better data than the carriers in terms of what the true persistency is. But the carriers, with that partial view of only knowing, hey, it's a Cigna policy, Cigna DVH with a Cigna Med Sup, mutual with a mutual. They've only got partial, but it's so big on their side that
Yeah.
they're seeing the trend, across the board. And so I think it's an important thing. That's why we wanted to get on and, have this conversation, because it's been huge for us. It's been huge for us in multiple different ways, be it better persistency, which means longer and higher lifetime value of our policies, better for our clients because they're not having to switch so often and they get the policies that they need. And then it's better for our agents by putting extra money in their pockets during some of these leaner months for, Medicare is a seasonal business. Now, how do you make it less seasonal for your agents? How do we level out our pay so that they're happy all year and not just happy
Medicare
when they-
should not be a seasonal business, but it is for 90% of the call
Sure.
centers out there because they sell Medicare Advantage. Come April, we're not going to skip a beat as a call center, right? We're not going to skip a beat as a call center. Now, I've staggered. We're not going to hire 30 agents April 1st, right? That's just not happening, but at the end of the day, we got our first class in January, and that kind of helps us out during OEP, right? Then we'll have another class that starts right before AEP to kind of get ready for that, right? So we've staggered the way that we hire for seasonality, but our agents don't skip a beat come April 1st. We don't have to take agents and then just go sell final expense or anything else along those lines. Why? Because of the fact that we sell to the client's needs and their wants, right? On the Medicare side of it, and we're able to generate leads year round.
Don't stop here. Check out the rest of the brokerage videos on this channel. They're basically a free MBA for agency owners.
That is the brokerage for us, right? The brokerage for us is to give EIP in a box to you as a downline, right? To say, hey guys, we're going to teach you how to sell ancillary. Well, if you're selling Medicare Advantage, we'll teach you Medicare Supplements. Maybe you don't want to sell Medicare Supplements. You want to sell final expense, right? EIP in a box is we're going to teach you the way that we're doing things. In return, we've learned a lot from a lot of our downlines as well.
Absolutely.
But our brokerage side is absolutely blowing up. It's blowing up. I mean, Kurt's, I don't even know if how we have time for this video right now.
I've actually got to jump. I've got a meeting with one of our people.
One of our downloads. Yeah. So needless to say, guys, this is the value. We're contract levels. We're going to give you the same levels that everybody else is going to give you, if not better. Full transparency and what you need to hit to get the higher levels, right? We're going to teach you how to sell ancillary. We're going to teach you how to sell core policy. You want to get into wealth? Boom, check. You want to learn how to hire people? Check. We got you, right? We've got a whole team of that. You want to learn how to generate some leads? Check. We can help you out with that, right? Anything you can dream of. We're a good operational company, right? Come work with us. Now, we're being very selective of who we're working with. We've turned away a lot of groups, right? We want the medium to larger companies. Like if you're a onesie, twosie shop, we're not there today. I think we'll be there in the next year or 2 years. We'll be able to onboard anybody, whether it be a one person shop, or a 5,000 person shop, right? We'll be able to onboard anybody, but now we're looking at mid to large companies and essentially there to give you EIP in a box. What do you need help with, right? And we want to do this for the industry as well. We need to fix this industry. Now, if you come and work with us, let me be very clear and very transparent here. We're going to hold you accountable. We're going to make sure that you're doing the right things on the calls, right? We're going to make sure that you're offering, right, the right products to the consumers and everything else along those lines. My name in this industry means more than anybody knows, right? Even internally, my name is big in the industry, and it's because of the fact of doing the right thing 100% of the time. Not 90% of the time, but 100% of the time. So we want to work with the right people. B, we want people that are coachable. Okay. And C, we just want to help you guys out to help your consumers out. And then in return, it's a win-win-win for everybody in the industry.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. I think this is a great topic. I know we've talked about ancillaries in the past, but it's huge. It's huge for the carriers. It's huge for your agency. It's huge for your agents. Thinking about that now, as we've had these different conversations, keeping agents happy all year long. The agents are the backbone of our businesses. And if we don't have a good focus and a good plan for them, then they're going to start coming up with plans on their own. And then there goes your agency. And so we've got to have that focus to make sure that we keep the agents happy, but also keep them accountable. And some of that comes with a little bit of growing pains. They may not want to sell those ancillary products up front, which is what we had. But eventually we found out that they liked it, and now they're selling them. And now some of them are making just absolute a killing on those ancillary products. Get in touch with us if you guys have any questions moving forward. We've got our email in the bio. We'd love to have a conversation with you, see if we are the right fit for you, and see if you're the right fit for us. Thanks for joining us today. Jagger, any last words?
No, get a hold of us if you want to learn. You want to be the best in the industry. Don't reinvent the wheel. We've done it, right? You're going to get the same levels to us, right? And everything else. Let us help you be better people in the industry. In return, we save this industry as well. From a life insurance, we're good, right? Reality life insurance is going away for many, many years. Medicare, right? Current administration, they could pull the plug tomorrow because of the fact that the bullshit that's happening in this industry. So let's fix it together as a whole, right? So we have this industry a year from now, 10 years from now, 30 years from now as well.
Absolutely.